Hello 3D printing friends. Today on the BV 3D channel we'll take a quick look at the MakerLab PrintMon Maker, an AI 3D model creator on Bambu Lab's MakerWorld site. I'm Brian and you are watching BV 3D. Hi, welcome back. Okay, so today we're taking a look at the PrintMon Maker tucked away inside the MakerLab section of Bambu Lab's MakerWorld site. So, what does it do? Well, the tagline says, craft your own fantasy creatures for 3D printing. It's an AI 3D model maker where you can provide a text prompt or upload an image and it creates a Pokémon-style 3D model that you can download and print based on your description or image. Pretty cool, right? Let's get on the computer and see how this works. On the MakerWorld website, click the MakerLab link at the top of the page and click Start on the PrintMon Maker card. Then click either Create from Blank or New Project. PrintMon Maker will show a reminder that your prompts are used as a reference and what it's going to make is in a cartoon style that can be 3D printed, so keep that in mind. Next, tell PrintMon Maker what you want it to make. The example text gives you an idea of what it's expecting, and you can click random text if you're drawing a blank and need some inspiration. When you think you've said enough, click Get a Concept. A few seconds later, it'll have something for you. If you don't like that specific result, click Retry, and it'll generate a new concept. After a few tries, you'll have some options to pick from. Then you can select the one you like best, and then click the Hatchet button. This is where it'll create the actual 3D model for you, and it can take a minute or two to do its thing. When it finishes hatching, you'll see a 3D preview. You can spin the model around and zoom in or out to get a good look at it. If you like the model and you want to get it, click the Confirm button. At this point, you'll see a panel showing you how many MakerLab credits this will use. It would normally take 50, but at the moment it only takes 10. So at this point I'll confirm this, spend the 10 credits, and get the model. And don't freak out about MakerLab credits, they're basically free. Think of credits as the in-game currency for some MakerLab features. And if you're worried about the actual cost in hard physical currency, don't be. You can exchange MakerWorld points for MakerLab credits at a 1 to 10 exchange rate. 1 point gets you 10 credits. And MakerWorld gives you points for just about anything you do on the site. Fill out your profile, get points. Upload a model, get points. Rate a print profile, get points. You get the idea. Earn enough of those points and you can redeem them for gift cards, exclusive 3D models, or 99% off coupons on hardware kits like these. So MakerWorld points are easy to get, they don't cost real money, and they can be turned into MakerLab credits. So back to PrintMon Maker. At this point, it's created the model, and I can select the number of colors I want to use if I have an AMS or AMS Lite available. I'll pick 4. And I can change this around a bit. I'm not super happy with the eyes on this, but there's an eyes tool that'll replace the model's eyes with a standard set, and I can edit the colors for those too. I can even add a base, which I'm going to do because I don't know if this model would balance well on its own. Also, PrintMon Maker has a little reminder that you can fine-tune the color scheme with the painting tool in Bambu Studio, and when the time comes, I'll do that to simplify it a bit before I print it. First though, I need to get it onto my computer. Clicking the download button starts that process, and it takes a moment to get everything ready. Then it lets me know I need to be using a specific version of Bambu Studio. Clicking the OK button will close that message. And if I want a reference image of the model to look at while using the painting tools in Bambu Studio, I can download that from here. Then click Open in Bambu Studio to, well, open your PrintMon in Bambu Studio. So now that it's in Bambu Studio, I'd say this actually came out pretty okay. But like I said a minute ago, I'm going to simplify the color scheme a bit, and I'm also going to change the eye color to black. Since I only have 4 colors to work with on my AMS Lite, I'll be using a shiny silk gold for the yellow, and then regular PLA for the red, white, and black. To simplify the color scheme, I'm going to go for a white and gold body on this, so that means painting the yellowy gold color over the orange and red. But I'm going to leave that red crest on its face because I think that looks pretty cool. It took a little bit of time to get the eye colors changed from red to black, but I like the end result. So then I can load the appropriate filament colors and slice this little monster and print it out. And even though this was a small model, there were a lot of color swaps, and those take time to do. That means this was an 11+ hour print job. I managed to get it started right as we were heading out the door to do some family stuff, which included a violin concert my kid was performing in and dinner out afterward. I checked on it from time to time while we were out, and it printed without a problem. When we got home, it was finished, and all I needed to do was remove the supports. Even though there were a lot of supports, the tree supports were pretty easy to remove. I think it took about 10 minutes tops. And in hindsight, including that base was a really good idea because I think this little monster would have been a bit tail heavy. I think the finished print came out great. What do you think? It's pretty cool that some software was able to turn the phrase, a fire-type mythical phoenix with radiant golden feathers, into this little Pokémon-style creature. Pokémon? Pokémon? Okay, not the greatest pun. I kind of feel like it went down in flames. Maybe a better one will rise from its ashes. And if, like me right now, words aren't your strong suit, you can drag in a picture instead and it can use that as a basis to create something. I'm not here to start a debate about whether AI is going to take over the world or displace artists, but I don't think this is going to replace actual talented human beings who are capable of making this sort of thing. For example, you don't really have a whole lot of control over what it generates. You basically have to change your text prompt or click the retry button over and over again until you say, that one's cool, I'll print that. With a talented human being creating the model, you could ask for modifications as you go, like, okay, I like it so far, but can we add a top hat and a cane? Without having to edit a prompt and start over from scratch. I feel like there's a place for both. This PrintMon Maker is fun for casual experimentation, but if you have something specific in mind, you might consider hiring a 3D modeler to design it for you. So that's the MakerLab PrintMon Maker. Big thanks to everyone who supports the channel, whether with channel memberships or by using the links in the description. If you liked this episode, give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss new ones. Well, 3D printing friends, that's about all the time we have for this one. And now that we're at the end, let's go print something cool.